Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like the beast. Black top, jungle, feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checker flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop, hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Auto Club Speedway as the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series is back underway here this Friday afternoon. The drivers out there on the racetrack, a bunch of them already getting done their qualifying session, as right now it's Cameron Craighead with the quick time. Here in qualifying, we do see Travis Roberto out there on the speedway waiting for the lights to be turned on here at Auto Club Speedway, but the beautiful number 028 ride strolls out there on the speedway. Unfortunately does bounce off the outside fence, and he will not get that second lap in as he is currently sitting in that 5th position, but looking to try to qualify up inside the top 3 here, maybe to that pole. Unfortunately, he'll fall back now into the 6th spot as Frankie Klein, Captain Caveman, jumps up into position number 5 here. That beautiful HendrickCars.com number 17 machine now into that 5th position here in qualifying. We do see David Guzman jumping out there onto the speedway. Here comes Ryan Peters in that 05 ride as well. Some pretty good damage here for that 05. Looks like he's gotten up into the outside fence is Tommy Thompson. Look at Tommy out there on the racetrack rolling here down across the line, seeing if he can find a little extra speed. Finds a little extra, goes from 23rd up to 17th. Boris S out there on the speedway as well in that beautiful Columbia number 88 ride. He jumps out there onto the track, jumps into 21st. Here comes Christian Marcelli out there on the track as Bluo says, "Rip, I set a 40.195, but scrape the wall." Yeah, unfortunate contact there. That outside wall, it can get you in a quick curry. You bounce off it, you make that little bit of contact, that lap is null and void. So you gotta be clean out there on the speedway, but trying to get as much power, as much speed out of these corners you can get up there in a quick curry. Scrub that wall. It's not going to hurt you too much here at Auto Club. We're going to see it throughout the afternoon. Each of these drivers is going to probably find that outside fence a couple times, but here in qualifying, you got to keep it out of that wall. As we do see Lucas Wilson, he's out there on the speedway. Same with Curtis Kelly. Kelly in that 5-hour energy ride looking for a big lap, as right now is the only driver not to get a lap in here in this qualifying session. And for the 71 machine, he's up on that high side groove looking looking for a big drive off, looking to carry that momentum and that speed down the front straightaway. Dips down onto the apron, looking for a ton of speed here. We'll see where he can slide up to, see if he jumps inside the top 10. Not yet. Doesn't look like that was going to complete. That's still going to start his lap. So he's just building up that momentum, getting ready for that first lap here of his qualifying session. As we did see the 22 ride of Christian Marcelli jump up into position number 7. A great lap time there for that 22 ride as Curtis Kelly still strolling out there on the speedway. We'll see where he can line up as he jumps out there trying to lay down a great lap time. The last driver to really finish his qualifying efforts here this evening. Down across the line, we'll see where he jumps up and into. See where he goes onto the board. Up to 6 for that 71 ride. So up into that 6th position. Looks like he's going to lock her down and take that lap and call it quits there on his qualifying run. So I do believe that's going to bring it for every one of these drivers here. The racing action coming to a close is my boy Chris DeWeese. What's good, Chris? Chris coming in, showing the love, says good evening, race fans. Good to see you, buddy. Let's go, number 5, Braxton DeWeese. Cheering on Braxton again here this afternoon. Right now, Braxton looking good, qualified in position number 2. He's got Cameron Crankhead in the 48 who will start to his inside. AJ Green, Noah Miller, and Frankie Klein are top 5. Followed by Curtis Kelly, Travis Roberto, Christian Marcelli, Stephen Hines, and Ken Zeems rounding out our top 10. George Buck, Russell Peets, Victor Pfluger, Brennan McKee, Kevin Manapace back there in the 15th spot with Corey Bakkanen, Blaine Wilson, Owen Bridges, Tommy Thompson, Blue Jade rounding out our top 20. Corey Moore, Alex Coffey, Boris S., Joshua Whitfield, Ryan Peters, David Goodman, and Lucas Wilson bringing up the rear of the field. 27 drivers taking lap times, 27 drivers getting ready to go to battle here for 100 laps of racing action, 100 laps to duke it out here this evening. They're going to have 100 laps. We're going to see 2 stages, lap number 20 and lap number 50. So going to kind of break it up there a little bit. A 20-lap run. We'll see that caution flag come out. We'll get a few laps under caution. We'll go back to green flag racing for probably about another 25, 26 laps, and then we'll see that caution flag come back out for the end of stage number 2. And then we're going to have that 50-lap run to the end. So our longest run, save for the last little bit here, where we may see green flag pit stops have to become a thing. 65% fuel. They got 4 sets of tires down there behind pit wall, and there is 3 green, white, checkered attempts here this evening. So you want to make sure that you're good. You want to make sure that you're perfect out there on the speedway, not running into problems, and trying to play a little bit of that strategy game, trying to put yourself into the best situation later on in the evening, where maybe you got that extra set still behind pit wall. If we see that late race caution flag and you're sitting in a position that you can, use it to your advantage, come down pit road, put those fresh tires on, and maybe drive back up through the field and pick up a dub here this evening. Our battle there for that win through the traffic is going to be very, very interesting to see if drivers are going to play it safe or if they're going to try to make some moves and put themselves into a spot to try to get it done here this evening, as it's going to come down to a lot of that strategy here this evening. Is Kelly Coffey. Kelly says, let's go Coffey and Dig Esports drivers sharing on all the Dig rides here this evening as they get ready to rock and roll. They get ready to go to battle here in this one, as Nurse Dabs coming in with that hydrate over there, and everyone coming in showing the love over on Facebook and over on Twitch, over on YouTube, as well as we're live on all 3 channels, bringing the Grand Slam series to every one of the accounts. Is Anthony Garth. Anthony coming in with that like on the stream over there on Facebook. My boy Robbie Tesser. What's good, Robbie? Robbie comes in, says, let's go, baby, let's go, Robbie, let's get it, my boy. Oh, man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be very, very good as we do see qualifying come to a close. The checkered flag is now out here in this qualifying session. As Nigel says, Blaine Wilson digs. Cheered on Wilson out there. Cheered on Alex Coffey and all of the Dig Esports rides here this evening. As Robbie Tester says, sorry if I made it too spicy last night, laugh out loud. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Listen, I've seen so many drivers that have unfortunately been banned from a series or had a run-in with somebody and come into the chat. I know how to deal with it. I'm a grown man. I know how to deal with it. I know when to read a comment out loud and when to read a comment and keep it in my brain. It's not too hard to do. And if something's a little too far out of pocket or bashing a league or anything else, you know, I'll say something, or I'll put you in a timeout, or I'll put them in a timeout and let them cool off a little bit. No one likes to see that. No one wants to read that in the comments section. You know, fans in the stands and family members, sponsors, all that fun stuff. They don't want to see that. As Re-Golf coming in says, let's go 42, cheering on more out there on the Speedway. How are you, Re-Golf? How are you doing? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful evening as we get ready to rock and roll here in this one, as the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series back in action here this afternoon. Drivers loaded into the sim, each and every single one of them looking for the win, as we'll go through our starting grade. And starting on the pole in the number 48 ride, that is Cameron Craghand. To his outside is going to be that 5 ride of Braxton DeWeese. There's Braxton loading into the sim there in that 5 ride. As then we see the number 07, that is AJ Green. Noah Miller in the 8 ride. We'll start there in 4th. Frankie Klein back in that 5th spot with Curtis Kelly. Travis Roberto in that beautiful M10 Motorsports ride, the Mach 10 Motorsports machine there in position number 7. To his outside is the E-Lab number 22 rider Christian Marcelli. Then we see Stephen Hines, Ken Zeems rounding out our top 10. George Buck, Victor Fluger, Kevin Menapace, Blaine Wilson, Russell Peets, Brennan McKee, Corey Buchanan, Owen Bridges, Blue Jade, and Alex Coffey rounding out our top 20, getting ready to go to battle here this evening. They have Joshua Whitfield, Tommy Thompson, Corey Moore, Boris S., David Goodman, Ryan Peters, and the number 95 ride of Lucas Wilson, bringing up the rear of the field. 25 cats ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle here this evening. This is going to be a ton of fun. This is going to be a great time. They finally got the lights turned on here at AutoClub Speedway. I know they're all about saving electricity down there and trying to be, as eco-friendly as possible, but we need the lights on here because we're going to get ready to go racing at AutoClub Speedway. As the action is about to get started, things are about to get fired off. It is Cameron Craghand, Braxton DeWeese, who will lead us down to the green flag, as the pace car will make that hard left-hand turn, and we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here with the Grand Slam Series. And quickly down through the Geico restart zone, the 48 rider Cameron Craghand sees that green flag fly. He gets a great shot by that 07 of AJ Green. As Green will push him out in front down the front straightaway, and out in front Cameron Craghand will lead us down through corner number 1 and out of corner number 2, looking for a good drive off of that second corner, but unfortunately did not get the run that he was hoping for. AJ Green already looking for the race lead as the Nebraska 07 ride down to up to his outside, looking to take a big run here, looking to see if he can beat him off of corner number 4 and drag race back to the start finish line, as the 48 ride of Cameron Craghand serving a penalty here early on in this race. Too quick coming down pit road right there as well. Could potentially have another pass-through penalty, as that 48 ride had to make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side. A penalty from last week, unfortunately, taking our pole sitter already down and off of the racetrack. We'll see him roll back out here soon as he is done cruising down this front straightaway, but it is a long front straightaway, and you can quickly go a lap down here at AutoClub Speedways. You already see our new race leader AJ Green out in front leading this thing, and he is rounding corner number 4, and we're just seeing that 48 ride come back out onto the racetrack. He's just trying to build up that momentum down through corner number 1 and 2, trying to take us down the back straightaway with a big run here. Now hopefully he did not get a secondary penalty there, trying to come down pit road. Looked like he got in ran a little bit too quick. Hopefully got that Coca-Cola Company ride checked up in time where he doesn't have to make another pass-through penalty, or that's going to really hurt his efforts here this evening. Now, seeing that caution flag come out at lap number 20, maybe he'll be able to be quick enough and be able to hold these guys off and keep himself on the lead lap, as we do see AJ Green continuing to lead the way. Right there behind him, though, is that number 5 rider, Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese putting the pressure there to his back bumper as here comes Curtis Kelly, here comes Frankie Klein, and Noah Miller, our top 5 out there on the racetrack. Christian Marcelli back in position number 6 with Victor Pfluger already up 6 positions here. All right, this Craftsman number 20 ride, this Toyota machine is quickly working himself up and through the traffic, up 6 spots already into 7th here. The passes are going to get tougher and tougher and tougher, but he's on his way to the front of the field. And Stephen Hines, Travis Roberto, and Blaine Wilson, who's now up 7 positions, entering our top 10. And right there behind him, we see Corey Buchanan. He's up 5 spots already in this race, in that 84 of Corey Moore, the beautiful Carvana number 84 ride. Jimmy Johnson-esque out there on the Speedway. This is one of Jimmy's home track races, and having a good run already, up 9 spots as well for Corey Moore on the move to the front of the field. Alex Coffey back there, he's up 8 spots in that 14th position as we see the caution flag fly. So the caution flag coming out, a unfortunate break here. Let's take a look back and see what happens. I do believe we're going to see Russell Peets in the 191 ride, a little 3 wide right here down into corner number 1. I'm not sure if he comes down or if the 42 comes up, but unfortunately a couple drivers right there, nowhere to go. Some pretty good damage there for them. Boris S., he gets tied up in this one. Let's see if we can get another angle, another look at this contact as they head down into that first corner on the racetrack. So watch these two as oh yeah, looks like the 42 coming up there. I'm not sure if he thought that the 191 would go up a little bit more, not realizing they were potentially 3 wide. Gets into him, turns him around. Unfortunately, some pretty good contact there for the 88 and the 83 machine out there on the Speedway is Blue Jade getting some damage. Boris S. getting damage there in heavy contact for that 191 of Russell Peets. Tough break there for him. And Cameron Craighead, unfortunately, did go a lap down, but he's hoping to see if he can get that wave around the free pass, try to work himself back onto the lead lap. May need another caution flag or 2 as he's made a couple of pit stops there in that Coca-Cola 48 machine. And for our pole sitter, definitely not the way he wanted things to get started here this evening. As Brad Hunt, what's good, Mr. Hunt? Brad coming in with that like in the share. What's good, Hunt? How are you this afternoon, brother? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Stephen Hines says, can we see the intervals? Ooh, it's locked right now. Let me get that fixed up. Sometimes it doesn't like to just automatically refresh itself there, so I'm glad I jumped over and checked that, because we can definitely get that refreshed and definitely get that working again here for us. There we go. All right, we got that going again. Sometimes we just got to refresh it real quick. It doesn't like to automatically do it. So when it goes from practice to qualifying, sometimes it doesn't do it, or sometimes going from qualifying to the race, it seems like it just doesn't want to transfer over and refresh itself. But I'm glad you brought that up and we got that going. As Blue O says, 1 minute of repairs from that. Rip 83. Yeah, it's a tough break for the 83. Tough break for the 88 ride as well. And everyone collected there in that first caution flag of the day. And we're already inching towards that first stage break of the evening, as Blaze Blade said, let's go Boris. Cheering on Boris out there on the Speedway. Dennis DeWeese says, let's go Braxton. Cheering on Braxton here this evening, as Blaze says, 88, my goat. He says, my goat. Let's go. Blaze, you may be able to help us out here. How do you say Boris's last name? How do you pronounce it? How do you say it? Can you break it down for me if you know? It would be great to be able to pronounce that last name without completely murdering it here on the broadcast. Says Steve, absolutely, brother. Says thanks, and thanks for the broadcast. I got you, my boy. I got you. No better place to be than up here in the broadcast booth, enjoying some great racing action with you amazing people, all the great fans in the stands, and all these amazing drivers out there on the Speedway. Is I just got done work not too long ago. Just got done work, just got home, got loaded into the system, got everything loaded up. I'm still in the work attire here. I still get the work attire on, and you know, it works. It works. It's a little red, but it works. So we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. I could undo the top button though. I mean, I don't have to look as classy up here in the broadcast booth, but we do like to look nice up here in the webcam for everybody. So maybe we'll keep it up. Well, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there. We'll look fancy up here in the broadcast booth for you. As we get ready to go back to battle, we get ready to duke it out here once again on the evening. We inch closer and closer as down through corner 1 and 2. We do see the lights turned off the official iRacing pace car. He will make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side and unleash this field once again here at AutoClub Speedway as the 07 of AJ Green continues to lead the way. Green trying to hold off Curtis Kelly, that 5 right up Braxton DeWeese, the 17 of Frankie Klein, all right there ready to jump on the opportunity. If the door opens, they will be there to try to take that top spot away from the 07 machine. You see that number 8 right there as well, Noah Miller. He's ready to strike. He wants to keep on working his way back up through this top 5 and try to get to the front of the field here this afternoon. See if he can try to lead some laps here in the Grand Slam Series at AutoClub Speedways. He is the Bulgarian Brute. That's why his last name is a bit difficult to read. I can only imagine. I knew it was definitely not Canadian or you know, American. Normally you don't see names quite like that. Is more moving to the front. Yeah, there's a lot of drivers on their way to the front. As Scramamoosh says hi. Who knows the song name and singer of the track that played at the start of the Wednesday night stream? That is a custom-made song, unfortunately there, Scramamoosh. That's a custom-made song that we made here on Peacemaker Gaming, and it's only available here on Peacemaker Gaming, so it's custom-made. It's made by myself, with a little bit of AI added in there, and a little help from the boys there with our Wednesday night league as well to give the lyrics and everything else there. So unfortunately, that's the only place you can hear it. I may break it down and make a video for it and upload it itself, so you guys can go and re-listen to just that song on that area. We may have to start a Spotify account for you guys to listen to our songs here as well on Peacemaker Gaming as we get things rocking and rolling. As out in front, leading the way, taking that green flag and quickly taking the race lead away from the 07 ride, it is Curtis Kelly. Kelly up 5 spots, now sits there in that top spot, trying to hold off that 07 of AJ Green and Braxton DeWeese as Blaine Wilson continuing his march up towards the front of the field here. Wilson now able to get around a few more drivers and park that 20 ride up inside the top 5. He is now up 12 positions and a couple drivers moving up through the field with him. You take a look back at that 84 ride, the Carvana machine of Corey Moore now into position number 7. He is currently being scored up 13 spots on the speedway. Alex Coffey up 12 spots as well, so we got a few drivers up inside our top 10 that are marching towards the front of the field. As you see Alex Coffey right there go 3 wide and take them deep down low into corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, looking to carry that momentum. Is going to slide up in front of his teammate in that Dig Esports number 20 machine, as unfortunately for that 20 ride falling back a couple spots, but quickly you do see that 54 ride working his way to the front of the field, man. Alex Coffey now up 15 positions down there in that one corner. Took a 3-for-1, made three passes in one set of corners and continued to try to march and command his way to the front of the field. As out in front, Curtis Kelly leads this race and now starting to open up a little bit of a lead here. Starting to take that pressure off of his own back bumper as AJ Green back in second. Braxton DeWeese there in third, as we do see Frankie Klein and Blaine Wilson door to door back there for position number 4. The Tilly's 18 machine will jump up into that 4th position, and right there behind him you see Alex Coffey trying to make his way around the Yeti black Rifle copy number 2 rider Stephen Hines. Hines unfortunately sliding back now into position number 7 is Coffee able to get around him. You see that Monster Energy number 54 ride picking up a couple more spots and now inside our top 6. Coffee looking good again here this evening after a bad qualifying attempt, but quickly working his way up to the front of the field. As Mate, I don't know how you pronounce the rest of that, but Mate coming in showing the love here in this one. Says hi over there in the YouTube chat. Hi, how are you? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Curtis Kelly leads this race, we quickly see these laps clicking down. We get closer and closer to that first stage break. So lap number 20, we will see that first stage end here this evening as Kelly Coffee says Coffee with the shocked face. Yeah, I think he's shocking a lot of those drivers out there on the racetrack. They probably knew he was going to be fast. He was going to be tough to compete against here this evening, but working his way up through this traffic that quickly, that easily, going to make him one to keep an eye on here all evening long, as now he's able to work himself up into position number 4 and now looking for more. Up 18 spots, started all the way back in 22nd, now rolls in position number 4. Is lookout as the 22 ride of Christian Marcelli almost going around right there. A little contact, he got very bent out of shape, loses a ton of momentum down that back straightaway and slides all the way back into that 17th position. Definitely not where he wants to be out there on the speedway. As Curtis Kelly leading the way, he's looking for this stage win with AJ Green. Braxton Deweese duking it out here for position number 2. We did just see Deweese down low trying to make that pass on the Nebraska 07 ride. Couldn't quite get it done, and as they continue to battle here for position number 2, may open up the door here for Alex Coffey. The inch closer and closer to them. Maybe he's got a few more spots that he can gain here before the end of the stage. Maybe put a little bit more points into his back pocket for picking up some stage points here. Some good runs in this race as Blaine Wilson, his teammate, right there behind him in that 5th position. Frankie Klein back there at 6th. Victor Pfluger back in 7th. And Stephen Hines, Owen Bridges, Kevin Menapace now rounding out our top 10. As unfortunately for the 84 ride, that is Corey Moore. Moore sliding backwards here now into the 12th position. He had worked himself up inside the top 10. Now back in 12th is Travis Roberto in the Mach 10 number 28 line. 028 rolls there in that 13th position. You do see the 48 making some moves right there. Unfortunately, that is Cameron Craighead. Craighead now down at least a lap, maybe even 2 laps out there on the racetrack. And for Cameron Craighead, he can't wait to see this stage break happen and hopefully get that free pass, the lucky dog, to put himself 1 lap down, where he can try and get that lucky dog again and see if he can race his way back onto the lead lap, back into contention here this evening. As Curtis Kelly out in front, we do see Lucas Wilson run into some issues. No caution flag back there. There it is. There is the caution flag. It will fly here in this one. Looks like we will end stage number 1 under the yellow flag as Lucas Wilson running into some problems out here on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see what happens. Wilson on the outside here. That is Tommy Thompson. Now the front straightaway looks like they're just going to make some contact. I don't know if one came up or the other came down, but he slams hard into that inside wall. The pit wall there on the front straightaway. Heavy left side damage there for that 95 ride. He's trying to get that thing rolling. Caution flag does come out here as he's parked there on the racetrack. Let's take another look at it. See what happens. See who comes up, who comes down, where this contact's made. See the 95 kind of goes up right there. Kind of coming down the racetrack, but the 7 ride starts to kind of come up, and unfortunately I think both drivers just kind of both trying to rub and scrub against each other here, trying to side draft a little bit off each other, and unfortunately they both just run out of room. Contacts made, a wrong spot, wrong time in that left rear quarter panel, hooks the 95 right down the racetrack and hard into that fence, man. Look at that contact right there, absolutely pancakes that thing. Heavy damage for Lucas Wilson. Now he's going to have to try to go to work and get that car repaired and hopefully be able to get back out onto the racetrack. As we'll get ready to go back to battle here as this stage comes to a close. Stage number 1 is going to go to the 71 ride, as out in front he will lead the way here down pit road. Some drivers going to take this opportunity to try to make these moves and put himself into the top position. What even happened? Says mate, yeah, what even happened? He's probably towed. Yeah, he definitely probably towed. Poor from the 7. I don't know. It was just kind of both right there. Just good hard racing. Unfortunately, both drivers just kind of meeting in the middle right there. One going down, one going high. And unfortunately, that's racing action. And unfortunate contact happens every single race. And right there, it just unfortunately happened in the wrong place, wrong time for that 95 ride, as he gets the worst end of the deal and pretty heavy damage. We do see a few drivers staying out here, not electing to come down pit side. You do see that 48 Ryan going to stay out there on the racetrack as well. He's looking for that wave around and at least going to get a lap back here this evening, as we did see Joshua Whitfield. Tommy Thompson, the driver who was just collected, just got a piece of that action there to bring out this caution flag in Blue Jade. All staying out here on the Speedway. We did see David Gudmon making a bit of a strategy move there, as well as the beautiful Cure MS ride jumping out there onto the racetrack. The Cure MS awareness, the multiple sclerosis awareness, 13 machine going to roll out in 4th. Ken Seams there in 5th, and then we see Curtis Kelly. So Kelly came down pit road in position number 1. All of a sudden, he's back in the 5th position, as I'm not sure what's going on here with Ken Seams, but Seams down on the apron. Looks like he is going to slide a little farther back in the field. I'm not sure if that he's going to make another pit stop here, or what may be going wrong with that 90 ride. Definitely slow down on the infield here, infield portion, and everyone going right on around him. So tough break there for Ken Seams. See if he can kind of get that spot back. We did see Tommy Thompson now head down pit side as well, so that strategy call for the 7 ride not really going to work out for him. Wasn't able to lead a lap, wasn't able to do anything there by staying out a little bit longer. And unfortunately for the Octane Outlaws, the PMP graphics ride, a little misjudgment right there with that pit strategy. It's Joshua Whitfield in Blue Jade gonna get ready to go back to green flag racing. Door to door down through corner number 1 and 2. The lights are off the official iRacing safety car here at AutoClub Speedway. We will see him make a hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and now unleashing this field. The Joshua Whitfield in Blue Jade, our front row here on the restart. There you see David Gudmon in position number 4, and Curtis Kelly there in 4th. AJ Green, Blaine Wilson, Alex Coffey, Braxton DeWeese, Victor Fluger, and Frankie Klein rounding out our top 10, ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here again this afternoon, as things are going to get a little interesting here. How are drivers with those fresher tires going to handle some of the action here, with 3 drivers up there in front of them? Quite a bit older tires here, going to be a lot more off the pace, and definitely going to make things very interesting, trying to negotiate and try to work themselves around them and make sure that they don't run them over out there on the speedways. Definitely some big strategy calls here for a lot of these drivers, whether or not they took fuel, they took tires there on that pit stop, trying to make it so that they can try to save a little bit of tire here and see if they can save a set for late in this race. As Brooke Bleep says, go Wilson, go, cheering on Wilson out there on the speedways. Blaine back in position at number 6 for the restart, as you see them quickly working themselves around that 13 ride. Look out, the 13 getting shuffled around right there, and David Gudmon quickly going from 3rd all the way back into 10th and sliding backwards even farther, as here comes Curtis Kelly up there on the outside lane, already able to make quick work of Blue Jade as they fall back into position number 5 on the speedway. The 60 ride trying to keep himself right there down low, trying to hang with our race leader here in this one, but down through 3 and out at corner number 4. Curtis Kelly back out in front will clear that 60, and he will be our race leader leader once again here this evening. As Joshua Whitfield trying to hold on to that second spot, we do see Blaine Wilson in the 18 ride, and Alex Coffey, Victor Pfluger, all now up inside the top 5. So the Dig Esports rides inside the top 5 here and looking to continue to march their way to the front of the field. As the 18 able to work himself around Joshua Whitfield, as the 18 ride trying to keep on racing his way to the front. These guys did not qualify very good, unfortunately for Coffey and Blaine Wilson. Both drivers have been really trying to work themselves up and through the traffic, and their teammate Victor Pfluger, he started back in about the, I don't even know, 13th, 14th position. Not the best qualifying run there for Pfluger either, but he's up 7 spots, sits in that 6th position. Just had that 0-7 ride of AJ Green get around him. Now he's trying to hold off the 5 ride of Braxton DeWeese in the 42 of Kevin Menapace. Menapace trying to get around him here as well in that 42 PBR machine. The 17 of Frankie Klein and the 0-5 of Ryan Peters rounding out our top 10. Blue Jade already back to 11th, as there goes that Carvana, number 84, down to the inside of the 83 machine to take over position number 11. Noah Miller right there, as well as Owen Bridges, all trying to get around that 83 ride. Travis Roberto back there in the 15th spot, getting pushed down the front straightaway by Steven Hines, as Hines back in 16th, trying to rebound back to the front of the field. Brennan McKee, Boris S. back there in 18th with Corey Buchanan. Christian Marcelli back there in 19th and 20th. Then we see George Buck, Cameron Crankhead, Russell Peets, Ken Zeems, Tommy Thompson down pit road, David Gumon and Lucas Wilson all down pit side as well. Lucen with heavy damage, trying to get that 95 ride repaired and hopefully back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately for Tommy Thompson, he's been down there for quite a little while, and David Gumon, unfortunately that strategy right there, the multiple sclerosis awareness 13 ride, that strategy just did not work out for him, and now an extended trip down pit road. As out in front, Curtis Kelly continuing to lead the way, has about a second lead now between himself and AJ Green. As Green in that 0-7 able to make some pretty quick work here off our top 5 and slide himself into that second position. Braxton DeWeese trying to join him up here inside the top 3 as they roll around that 60 ride of Joshua Whitfield. Blaine Wilson sliding back now into that 5th position, as here comes that 42 of Kevin Menapace, as the caution flag will come back out. So the caution flag will fly here for the third time here this afternoon. Our 3rd caution flag of the evening. Now, I'm not sure what this caution flag was for. This isn't really giving me a great look at it. Potentially some contact back here for the Mach 10 Motorsports number 028 ride. There it is. There's the contact. Unfortunately, looks like he's going to get turned right there by Brendan McKee, and he goes around. That's where we see that caution flag come out. Heavy damage there for the Mach 10 ride, as they were already tight together up here off of the corner. Not sure what happens here. Up on the high side, you see the 15 ride. Down the bottom, you see the 028. And just looks like a big push right here out of Travis Roberto. That car just gets tight. Oh, trying to avoid the 83 ride right there. Gets a great run. Actually gets a little contact there with that 83 ride. You're going to see this contact right about there. You see the sparks flying from that 028 and the 83. It launches him up the racetrack. Unfortunately, the 15 car is already there. He ends up pancaking the outside fence. They get tied together again. Unfortunately, both drivers just tied together down the back straightaway out of corner number 2, and they're just going to come together again here down the back stretch. Obviously, damage to both cats, and they come together again. Around goes that 028, and that's where we see that caution flag fly. That was a hornet's nest. It was definitely a hornet's nest right there, man. There was a lot of drivers just trying to work themselves up into the front of the field, and obviously that battle back there for like position number 2 all the way back to about 7th was absolutely wild. We saw these guys really making some moves, shuffling around there. We saw Kevin Menapace and Blaine Wilson, Braxton DeWeese, all these cats right there in the mix, and the one driver that did not want to see that caution flag was Curtis Kelly. Kelly had over a 1-second lead, and he was hoping to just try to keep managing that gap and keeping these drivers back there at bay, but now they're going to be right back to his rear bumper as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys know what to do. If you haven't done it already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. The green flag about to come back out, the action about to pick back up here with the Octane Outlaws in the Grand Slam Series here on Friday nights. As we'll get them ready to rock and roll, we'll get ready to go back to battle here. I'm going to get a quick drink in here and a quick little break, and then we'll get back ready to go back to battles. Chris DeWeese says, good job driving it back up there, number 5. Braxton DeWeese, yeah, great job by all these drivers, man, up through the top 10, top 15. We've seen non-stop fantastic racing between them all evening long.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle feast on chaos, grab the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal course blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames.
Alrighty, as we're going to go back to green flag racing here at AutoClub Speedway. The Grand Slam Series back in action here this evening as the pace car back down pit side. We do see that 71 rider Curtis Kelly getting another great restart. Quickly back onto the lap pedal in the 5-hour Energy Toyota. Quickly opening up that lead once again, trying to grow it down through corner 1 and 2. As AJ Green, Blaine Wilson, the 5-rider Braxton DeWeese, and Alex Coffey try to hunt him down as a little contact and squirreliness back there behind him just outside our top 10. As that was Stephen Hines who went down onto the apron after a little bit of contact there between himself and I do believe the 05 rider Ryan Peters. They're both able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction, keep on rolling here, and keep it clean and green out there on the speedway. As everybody trying to draft, everyone trying to find some dancing partners and trying to work their way to the front of the field here this evening. Everyone looking to try to beat that number 71 ride back down across the line here this afternoon, hoping to try to take this checkered flag and put themselves into the winner's column here on the season. A few other drivers trying to recreate what they've already done and find their way into victory lane for a multiple race win season here this afternoon. One of those being Alex Coffey, as Coffey rolls back there in position number 4 and looking for more as the 5-rider Braxton DeWeese falls back into that 5th position here on the restart. Kevin Menapace back there in 6th with Frankie Klein right there in 7th, and Corey Moore back up inside the top 10. The 84 ride once again finds himself in that 8th position as Noah Miller and Victor Pfluger back there behind him, rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway. As Curtis Kelly now starting to feel that pressure, is down to his inside is that 07 ride of AJ Green. Contact between teammates, look out. Oh baby, Blaine Wilson almost going around right there. I don't know how he kept this thing pointed in the right direction. Let's take another look at it. As down the back straightaway, take a look here. The 54 going to hang a hard left-hand turn. The 18 trying to go with them right there. Unfortunately, get time together. The 18 sliding sideways down through corner number 3. He ends up hitting the apron, hitting the grass. The Tilly's Toyota ride just trying to keep it pointed in the right direction, trying to keep that momentum built up and keep on rolling out there on the Speedway. Luckily enough, finds a lane, gets back out there onto the racetrack. Unfortunately, falls back quite a few spots here down the front straightaway. Not going to have that speed, not going to have that momentum built up, and he's going to fall all the way back now into the 14th spot on the Speedway and going to have to try to race his way all the way back up to the front of the field to continue on his battle. Unfortunately for Alex Coffey, that bit of contact is well hurting him as he falls into that 5th position. Now trying to hold off as they're 3 wide here once again. Trying to hold off that 42 ride of Kevin Menapace, the 84 right there as well as their 3 wide. A little contact right there into the PBR door of that number 42 as Corey Moore going to roll around both of them, and now Moore up inside our top 5. Noah Miller going to join him there as Miller able to make some quick work there after that contact between that number 54 and the 18 machine, and now finds himself up inside the top 4 and looking for more. Braxton Louise back up into 3rd here as these drivers put on one heck of a show for us again this evening. But it's Curtis Kelly who's out in front. We thought for a split second there that the 07 ride of AJ Green was going to get something, maybe a bit of a run to be able to make that pass and get back around the 71 ride, but Kelly able to hold him off and keep himself out in front of the field and keep these drivers back there behind him. As Kelly Coffey says, a little misjudgment. It happens out there. Brooks says, slick recovery, Blaine. Very slick recovery. That's a tough thing to do. We see a lot of drivers, if that contact happens, we see them sideways that much out there on the Speedway. They tend to go around, especially when the cars kind of transfer from the racing surface down to the apron. There's a lot of dirt down there. There's a lot of grime. It is definitely not a clean racetrack, and you can lose the rear end in a quick hurry, and especially when you get into that grass. It's like driving on ice, and luckily enough, he's able to keep that car rocking and rolling as we do see the caution flag come back out. So the caution flag will fly here in this one. A couple drivers getting tied together. Let's take a look back at Kevin Menapace in the 42 and the 2 ride of Stephen Hines, as it looks like they may have gotten tied together. Let's take a look here. Menapace, so looks like some contact here. Not sure if him and the 17 come together, but he bounces it off the wall. Unfortunately, comes back down into that HendrickCars.com 17 ride, and hard contact there. Heavy right front damage for that 42. The PBR machine shoots back down the racetrack. Unfortunately, for that 2 ride of Stephen Hines, nowhere for him to go. The 21 going to get some pretty heavy damage there as well, as he drives right into the back end of that Wrangler Monster Energy PBR 42 machine down the front straightaway. So that will bring the caution flag back out for the, I do believe, the 4th time here this afternoon already. As quite a few caution flags, a couple tore up race cars, and unfortunately, tough breaks out there on the Speedway. As Kelly says, yeah, we have Blaine did a good job right there. Yeah, he definitely did a good job right there, man. That was a fantastic job keeping that car, you know, for one thing, just pointing in the right direction. Another thing, to keep it rolling and not lose, you know, too many spots. I mean, really lost about 8-10 positions, but was able to keep on rolling out there on the racetrack. And we do see Stephen Hines. He's going to have to take his car down pit side. That was some heavy contact there for him. He's headed down pit road, hoping to get this thing repaired and hopefully back into one good piece, as that right front definitely got the brunt of the contact here, and the crew's going to have to go to work trying to slam that thing back into one piece and get him back out there on the racetrack before it's too late, or before he potentially goes a lap down or has to deal with that damage out here on the Speedway. As we will get them all stacked back up, racked back up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here once again, ladies and gentlemen. Friday afternoon here with the Octane Outlaws, the amazing Grand Slam Series here this afternoon from AutoClub Speedway, man, and doesn't get any better than this. There's no better place to spend your Friday afternoon than right here, tuning in and watching these drivers duke it out here on a Friday night, as Friday night under the lights, it just feels so good when you're here at a racetrack and watching these drivers beat and bang and battle out there on the Speedway, especially as under the lights. You get to see those sparks, you get to see the tempers really flare out there on the Speedway. As Kelly, Green, DeWeese are top three, followed by Miller back there in the fourth position, and Corey Moore looking for more there in that fifth spot. Alex Coffey there in sixth with Frankie Klein, Boris S., Owen Bridges, and Victor Pfluger rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. And so we'll get them ready to rock and roll. You do see Blaine Wilson right there in 11th with Joshua Whitfield, Ryan Peters, Travis Roberto, Blue Jade back in 15th with Ken Zeems, Christian Marcelli there in 17th. Cameron Crankhead, who was down pit side, he's rolled back out there onto the racetrack. Our pole sitter scored back in 18th with Stephen Hines still down on pit road. Unfortunately, still getting work done here. He may be at risk of going a lap down. Same with the number 15 of Brennan McKee, as they're just trying to stay on that lead lap. George Buck, he's back out there onto the racetrack as the 20 Ryan does find himself a lap or two behind here on the Speedway, and the 28 sits back in the 20th position. Same with Tommy Thompson, they're in 22nd. Kevin Menapace back in 23rd as the 42 is going to stay down pit side for an extended period of time. The 19 ride, that cherry wine ride machine of Corey Buchanan, he is back in 24th. Russell Peets rejoins the field here in that 191 ride, scored back in 25th. Unfortunately, multiple laps down here for that 191 machine. David Goodmond is taking his car off the racetrack, and Lucas Wilson still parked down pit side. As we get them ready to rock and roll, we get ready to go back to battle. The lights are off the official iRacing pace car. We'll go back to green flag racing here, not for a long time, but definitely a good time here as stage number 2 going to come to a close. Stage number 2 going to end here on lap number 50. So it's about a 10-lap shootout here to finish off this second stage. And some of these drivers, they may have been holding back, maybe try to save a little bit out there on the Speedway, maybe expecting to see a couple caution flags throughout this stage, and now trying to use those fresher tires to their advantage, see if they can work their way up to the front of the field and see if they can snag away a stage win from that 71 ride. As we are back to green flag racing, it's Curtis Kelly who's out in front with Braxton Deweese. They're in second, is down low. He's trying to complete that pass on that 07 of AJ Green, and Deweese door-to-door for that second spot down the back straightaway. That's exactly what Curtis Kelly wants to see, and now there goes single file. Unfortunately, that's going to bring that 07 ride a little bit closer there to his back bumper. Here comes the 54 ride, shooting down to the inside, trying to make the pass around his teammate in that 8 machine. Or actually, I don't know if they're teammates there between Miller and the 54 ride. I'd have to get the list of the DIG rides here again on the afternoon to see who is where here in this one as they spread out down that front straightaway. Everyone trying to find a run, trying to find a lane out there on the Speedway as Curtis Kelly, AJ Green, Alex Coffey trying to take that third spot away from Noah Miller as Deweese slides back into the 5th position. 3 wide right there behind him is down low. That's the 18 of Blaine Wilson trying to work his way back up towards the top 5 as the 88 of Boris S. able to slide into 6. Corey Moore unfortunately sliding back here now into that 7th position, maybe even back to 8th as the 18 ride of Blaine Wilson trying to take that spot away from him. Victor Pfluger right there in 9th with Ryan Peters rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Joshua Whitfield, Blue Jade, Travis Roberto, Christian Marcelli, Owen Bridges, Frankie Klein, Ken Zeems, Cameron Craighead, Stephen Hines, and George Buck rounding out our top 20 here this afternoon. As out in front, it's Curtis Kelly who continues to lead the way, but it's a dogfight right here behind him. Basically throw a blanket over our top 5 there on the racetrack, especially for that 2nd to 5th position as AJ Green trying to hold off Noah Miller, Alex Coffey, and that 5 right of Braxton Deweese. Deweese giving a big shove down the front straightaway to the back bumper of the 54, seeing if they can carry that momentum down into corner number 1. Looks like Deweese going to try to shoot the middle right here. The 54 down low, trying to see if he can get that run and slide up in front of that 8 rider, stay door to door with that 07 as he's trying to side draft them down the back straightaway, trying to stay right there to that left rear quarter panel, not allowing that 07 to really pull away down the back straightaway. Is down to the inside of corner of number 3 and out of 4. They are still door to door for position number 2, and that's exactly what Curtis Kelly wants to see. If they continue to battle back there behind him for that second position, it could allow him to hopefully try to open up a little bit more of a lead, but unfortunately the 07, the 54, they get single file down the front straightaway. They build up that speed, they build up that momentum in the bit of drafting down the Auto Club Speedway front straightaway, and unfortunately for the 71 ride, they get a little closer to his back bumper, but now door to door once again. Gonna try to see if he can open up a few car lengths here, try to break that draft ever so slightly and see if he can get back out to that 1 second lead that we saw early in this race for the 71 ride, as he wants to keep him back there at bay, wants to try to pick up this stage win, but it is not gonna come very easy. He's gonna have to work hard for it. He's gonna have to make sure he hits his marks and stays picture perfect out there on the speedway. One mistake, one slip up, you can go from the top spot to back in that 5th position. A quick hurry as the 54 of Alex Coffey getting a great run down through 1 and 2. He pulls right up to that rear quarter panel of the 71, and they go door to door down into corner number 3. Tight racing here at Auto Club Speedway as we get closer to the end of stage number 2 here this evening. It is door to door now at the front of the field as Alex Coffey trying to race his way to the front, man. He started back in 22nd in that 54 ride, looking for the race lead. Gonna make 21 passes to finally get here, to finally put himself out in front, even by a couple inches. He's gonna try to clear that 71 rider, Curtis Kelly. Unfortunately, could not clear him down the back straightaway and out at corner number 2, so they will stay door to door. The 71 gonna use that speed, that power, that momentum down the back straightaway to try to keep himself in this race lead. It's very, very tough to pass down there, and they make a little contact. Look out! Oh, hang on to it, the 54! Oh, baby! Oh, man, how is he still hanging on to it somehow or another? That 54 line does not go around. No caution flag, but he does fall back into position number 7. A huge mistake right there for the Monster Energy 54 ride as Coffey goes from battling for the race lead to now battling to trying to stay inside the top 10 here on the Speedway. Luckily enough, there's a big gap between himself and his teammate Victor Pfluger, and he's able to catch that rear draft off the 84 rider Corey Moore. Is Moore trying to race for more here this evening, trying to move that 84 ride now up inside the top 5 as he tries to hunt down the 18 of Blaine Wilson. Is out in front Curtis Kelly, even with that contact, even with that damage, able to keep that car pointed the right direction, keeps on rolling here in the race lead. You're starting to see that 5 right up Braxton DeWeese poking his nose down low as DeWeese try to make some late race moves here to see if he can try to jump out in front and maybe pick up this stage win. I know Noah Miller, Blaine Wilson, they're both going to be looking to try to make some moves themselves, try to put themselves into position. As now you do see a little bit of squirreliness right there. AJ Green went down to the inside, was hoping the 5 right would kind of go with them right there. Does not stick with them, and now Braxton DeWeese working to his outside, hoping to try to clear that 07 ride and move himself up and into position number 2 as he now makes the move to the outside of Curtis Kelly. A big run down the front straightaway there, door to door. The 5 of Braxton DeWeese looking for the race lead and down into corner number 1. Will the 71 rider Curtis Kelly be able to clear him here? Yes, he will. Down out at corner number 2. We'll slide back up in front of that 5 ride. We'll see Braxton make the move down to the inside, hoping for a big run down into corner number 3, enough that he can clear that 71 and keep himself out in front, but doesn't look like he's going to get that drive as there's the caution flag. The yellow flag will come back out in stage number 2. A lot like stage number 1 will end under the caution flag here this evening. As here we go, lap number 50 now onto the board as stage number 2 going to come to a close. We take a look back, the 7 rider Tommy Thompson running into some problems right here. Let's take a look back and see how this kind of gets started for the 7 ride. He was unfortunately a lap down already on the racetrack, and looks like he's just trying to keep this car pointing the right direction. Ken Zeems in the 2 ride, both getting some big runs down out of corner number 4. He's trying to keep himself out of the outside fence. The car shoots down the racetrack as he sees the 2 ride in his mirror. Unfortunately comes down the speedway. down over the nose here of that 90 rider Zeems, and see this look right here. He does, I don't know if he gets a piece of the wall right here. He was definitely close to slamming that fence, and unfortunately that may be what causes him to shoot down the racetrack right here. Yeah, he does get a little piece right there. Does get a little piece of that wall. You see the car already a little sideways out at corner number 4. Just trying to keep himself from hitting that fence too hard. Unfortunately, comes down the racetrack over the nose of the 90 ride. Now going to slide down through the grass here. Go for a couple loop-de-loops. Luckily enough, no heavy contact, no major damage there for that 7 ride, but does roll back out onto the racetrack, and unfortunately going to see that caution flag fly here as there he goes. He's going to spin around. Obviously, a lot of dirt, debris, grass, everything else on those tires, and that thing slick as heck. It unfortunately goes around, and you see him trying to get it rolling again, goes around again right there, does get a end up with a little bit of contact there with that outside fence, just trying to get this thing rolling again on the speedways. Another caution flag out there on the speedway. Gonna end stage number 2 as Curtis Kelly will pick up stage win number 2 here this afternoon. I do believe Kelly picking up the first 2 stages of the day, now hoping to try to get that trifecta, pick up that final stage win, which is the win of the race here, if you can keep this 5-hour energy front row motorsports Toyota out in front in leading this race, especially there on that final lap. As right behind him, that is Braxton DeWeese, Noah Miller there in 3rd, AJ Green and Blaine Wilson rounding out our top 5. Alex Coffey back in 6th with Corey Moore, Victor Pfluger, Joshua Whitfield, and Ryan Peters rounding out our top 10 on the speedway. Boris S. back at 11th with Travis Roberto, Blue Jade, Frankie Klein, George Buck rounding out our top 15 here on the speedway. Ken Zeems back in 16th with Christian Marcelli, Cameron Craighead, Owen Bridges, Stephen Hines, our top 20. Then we see Brian McKee, Tommy Thompson there in the 7, Ryan Russell Peets in the 23rd position back there in the 191, Corey Buchanan Jr. in the 19. He's back out there on the speedway, scored back in 24th. Unfortunately, Kevin Metapace, David Goodman, and Lucas Wilson all down and out of this race. We do see the 95 still down pit road, but he's been down there for a lot of laps. As everybody here, a lot of our race leaders head back down pit side here. A little bit of strategy call. Let's see if these guys all take tires here, knowing that they're probably going to want some fresh slicks on their race cars to see if they can make a long green flag run here to start our final stage of the day. That Mach 10 Motorsports number 028 of Travis Roberto heads down pit side. He's getting that car service. We do see everyone pretty much get jacked up and get that full set of tires and fuel, and they roll back out onto the racetrack. We do see Curtis Kelly roll back out here, but looks like he's going to come out about the 7th position as a couple drivers staying out. Blue Jade in the 83 staying out there on the racetrack. Same with Frankie Klein. He also comes down pit side. Now going to be 1 and 2 on the speedway. Ken Zeems, Christian Marcelli, Owen Bridges, our top 5 with Joshua Whitfield back in 6, and Curtis Kelly all the way back in position number 7. DeWeese, Miller, and Coffey rounding out our top 10 as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here at AutoClub Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here this evening. As Blue O says, I actually pit early. Yeah, you came down pit road there a little bit earlier. I did see that, Blue. I saw that for yourself and Frankie Klein, Ken Zeems, Christian Marcelli, a couple of those drivers. They came down a lap early because they really were in position to gain stage points. We saw the other drivers stay out there because they wanted to make sure that as lap number 50 came to a close, the stage officially ended. They wanted to make sure they held their positions and stayed out in front. And some bold strategy calls right there, definitely making some good calls, and gonna put Blue Jade and Frankie Klein, Ken Zeems, and Joshua Whitfield here now at the front of the field. Same with Christian Marcelli there in that 22. So some some good heads-up racing, some good heads-up moves out there on the speedway to keep themselves, get themselves a little track position, see if they can keep themselves here at the front of the field and battle for what could be a big race win for any of our top 4, top 5 out there on the speedway, and try to keep all these fast cats back there behind them and out of victory lane here this evening is going to be no easy task, and it's going to be fun to see how this one plays out, especially with the restart here. How quickly do we see, Curtis Kelly, Braxton DeWeese, Alex Coffey, Noah Miller, all these drivers try to work themselves back up to the front of the field if they can race their way back to the front of the field. Obviously, we've seen that 5 ride make some passes. We've seen the 54 work himself up and through the traffic here this evening. Same with Corey Moore and a couple of these other cats. It's going to be wild to see if they can keep that trend going and put themselves into position here again for what could be a big win. As the lights are off, the official iRacing pace car, they will head back down pit side, and we're going to get ready to jump into a Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we're going to crank it up here for the start of stage number 3, our final stage of the afternoon. Contact, around goes the 20 ride of Victor Pfluger, and our Peacemaker Gaming cranking up caution flag is going to fly. So the crank it up caution flag is going to be displayed here. Let's take a look back and see what happens as Victor Pfluger in that 20 machine. You see them 3, 4, 5, 6 wide here out of corner number 2. Unfortunately, it just does not work out for the 20 ride. Let's see if we can get another look at it, another angle, and see the contact that takes this 20 machine around. Looks like Corey Moore gonna get a piece of him right here. It's a big run down through corner number 2. All of a sudden, just looks like he gets a little tight. They make some contact, unfortunately, for Pfluger. Pretty good contact into that outside fence, unfortunately, for Corey Moore as well. Pretty good damage there for him in that 84. After making the first bit of contact here, Corey going to go right up the racetrack, and he's going to get hard into that outside fence as well. There's that contact. Unfortunately, he's bent out of shape. He comes back up the track as well. Hard right front contact there into the outside fence. Heavy front end damage there for the Craftsman number 20 of Victor Pfluger as he gets into the wall, and that's where we see this caution flag come back out as the crank it up caution flag curse going to continue here this evening, as it is definitely a curse. Definitely something that happens on a regular basis. We try to take a crank it up break, and the caution flag going to come right back out here on the afternoon. So we will get them ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here and continue on with our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up in just a few more moments.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle, feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. the dreams, chasing Speedway. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Rhyme till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.
Alrighty, as we're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here this afternoon, as our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up will continue. We'll see these drivers jump back out there and back under the green flag conditions, trying to keep themselves out in front and see who will keep themselves at the front of the field here and who may put themselves into the winning position here on this restart, as it may be clean and green from this point on. We may not see another caution flag here on the racetrack, as everyone trying to get settled in, everyone trying to get some good green flag laps down out of corner number 4. It's Blue Jade who leads the way here in the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as the pace car will make that hard left-hand turn. We will go back to battle as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys know what to do. Crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we go back to battle here in the Grand Slam Series. Caution flag going to come right back out down the back straightaway. We spoke too soon. The curse will continue here this evening as we do see Braxton DeWeese. We see Travis Roberto. We saw the 54 Coffee all getting tied up in this one, and it starts at the front of the field. You already see that HendrickCars.com. Number 17 rides sideways on the racetrack. He's looking right at us there on that bottom right. It's a little squirrely here out of corner number 2. I'm not sure exactly what happens here to Frankie Klein, but a little 3 wide, 4 wide back there behind him. And unfortunately for Frankie, looks like he's just going to lose that rear end coming out of corner number 2. See that car get loose, no contact, washes up the racetrack hard up into the outside fence. Nowhere to go for Curtis Kelly. Is Kelly up onto 2 wheels? Braxton DeWeese, he gets collected here. He goes around in that number 5 ride. Unfortunately, he's going to end up slamming into the 54. Heavy contact here for all 3 of those drivers. 3 of our top competitors here this evening. Heavy damage there for that 54 ride as he's going to go for a bunch of loop-de-loops down the back straightaway. Luckily enough, going to keep that car from hitting any walls or anything else, but heavy right side damage there for the 54. Heavy tail end damage there for Braxton DeWeese, and heavy right side damage for our Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner here, as unfortunately for the 71 ride, just really nowhere for him to go, and Curtis Kelly ends up in a very bad position in a quick hurry. Let's see if we can jump on board with him here and see what he can see as we go back. There you go, bam! Oh, man, that's how quickly things happen here at AutoClub Speedway. Really nothing he can do right there. Just looking to take a big run down the back straightaway, looking to try to jump up into second. All of a sudden, that second place car right up across his nose into the inside fence. He's got nowhere to go and no chance to survive this one, as he can try to turn to the left here pretty hard and do kind of what Braxton DeWeese did and drive over top of somebody. Unfortunately, just didn't really have that time, as that's where you see that 5 right of DeWeese. He's trying to get down the racetrack, trying to get checked up. Unfortunately, the 07, the 8 right not as quickly getting down and out of the way, and they get tied together. That's what spins the 5 right down and into the 54. Let's see if we can jump on board here with that 54 right and see what Alex Coffey can see, as he went for a wild ride down the back straightaway. So here you go, on board with Alex Coffey. Looks like he's through it. Looks like he's through it. Then all of a sudden gets clipped, gets tagged in, goes for a bunch of loop-de-loops, and now just trying to get this car rolling back in the right direction again. Luckily enough, That's all the contact that he did receive, and we keep on racing here this afternoon as we'll get these drivers back out there onto the racetrack. Everyone looking to just keep on runking and rolling here this evening, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Is what's good, Pruitt? Skyler coming in, showing the love. What's good, Skyler? Skyler coming in with the hey yo over there on the Facebook stream. What's good, Mr. Pruitt? How are you doing this afternoon, brother? Skyler, how excited are you, man? Racing season coming up soon for you guys. I know you guys start a few, a month or so almost earlier than what we do up here in Canada. So I know you're definitely starting to feel excited. I've seen some pictures of the car. It's looking fresh. It's looking fast like always. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of checkered flags on the season for you, brother. And we can't wait to see that 96 ride back out there onto the in real life dirt track and racing for these wins and championships and everything else. It's here, ready to get back on track, that's for sure. Brother, it's already there for you guys. Man, I am jealous. I am jealous. I don't think we're going to be hitting the track for practice until at least mid-April, and racing season probably going to start around the start of May for us. So we're still a month and a half away from really being back at the racetrack up here in the Great White North. Unfortunately for race season and most sports seasons that are outside sports, we're quite delayed compared to a lot of the rest of the world, especially anyone closer to the southern hemisphere there. So unfortunately for us, it's delayed as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. This race will no longer be delayed, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Just under 40 laps left to go here this evening from AutoClub Speedway. 100 laps on the docket here tonight. We're already 60% of the way through this race, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing as Blue Jade out in front leading the way. We'll see that green flag fly here once again as down through the Geico restart zone, the 83 with another good restart, quickly pulling out in front, opening up a couple car length lead between the 83 and that 90 ride as we'll continue with our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Oh, baby, we can't catch a break here, chat. What in the world is going on here? What in the world is happening? Can we get a lap completed here in this stage? I don't know. We may be running this whole thing under the caution flag, and that's exactly what Blue Jade wants to see. That's the caution flag coming back in here once again. Let's take a look and see what happens as we're going to crank it down, and we're going to get ready to see what happens here. Contact, we saw that 18 ride, unfortunately getting very loose up towards the front of the field here, and for the 18 ride of Blaine Wilson trying to keep that thing under control. Noah Miller right there on his back bumper. As you take a look here, he's getting a great run, looking to try to slide into position number 2, possibly there on the racetrack, as they're almost 3-4 wide right here, and oh, we're going a little too quick. We want to slow it down. Let's back it up right here. Back it up. Back it up, Terry. All right, we're going to slow it down. So the Tilly's 18 ride, that's who we're watching here. Gets a little bit loose right there. You see him come down the racetrack. Ends up getting a piece of this EP Lab number 22 rider Marcelli. Unfortunately, that gets him a little bit more loose, more bent out of shape. The 8 rider Noah Miller doing a great job trying to stay out of him here, trying to get checked up. Here comes Fluger into the picture as the 18 still trying to save it. That rear end still stepping out on him. Unfortunately, Hammond Miller finally going to make some contact, ends up clipping that 60 ride. He goes around Braxton Luis up into the outside fence. Heavy damage there for the 028 of Travis Roberto as he drives into the back end of the the 18, then up into the fence and head on to that 60 ride. So a bunch of drivers getting tore up, a lot of drivers getting some damage right there. And unfortunately, we're going to see the 19 ride kind of come in there, give a couple more blows, and that's where we see the caution flag fly here again in stage number 3 this evening. As a lot of caution flags, a lot of beating and banging here as everyone's starting to feel that, that pressure here. That pressure trying to get things rolling as Kelly says, don't try another crank it up. Cautions every time, right? Steven says, maybe no more crank it up. Yeah, maybe no more crank it up. We may have to take a break here. I may have to not do a crank it up. We may have to do a crank it down, see if that gets it fixed here for us. As Blue O says, please do. As definitely loving being out in front, leading this race, and keeping all these drivers back there at bay. And the more and more we see these caution flags, the more and more it opens up the door here for the 83 and some of these other drivers to start to make some more of these strategy calls here late in this race. The fuel, the tires, everything else are going to come into play, going to become a factor here. But we haven't really seen too many green flag laps in this stage to see these tires fall off or see these tires really get worn out. So everybody, even if they came back down pit side here on lap 63, compared to the drivers that came down pit road on lap 50, 51, they're pretty much even. There really hasn't been a whole lot of wear and tear on any of these other cats out in front of this field. So tires still even, but that fuel could become a major factor, could open up the door for some of these other drivers to make those strategy calls here, especially if we see these caution flags continue as everybody just trying to take everything they can. It's a lot of take. There's not a lot of give out there on the speedway. That's where we start to see some of these cautions fly and some of the contact being made out there on the speedway. And we're starting to see more and more drivers stuck down on pit road, as we do see Alex Coffey now down a few laps out there on the speedway. Travis Roberto, he's down pit side, heavy damage there on the 18 ride. Tommy Thompson, he's back quite a few laps down in 19th. Same with Russell Peets. Corey Moore down multiple laps there, scored in 21st. Curtis Kelly now parked down pit side after winning the first 2 stages, now back in 22nd. Same with Frankie Klein, they're in 23rd. Corey Bonkinen, he's back out there on the track, unfortunately scored in 24th. A lot of laps down here as Kevin Menapace, David Goodman, and Lucas Wilson all down and out of this race as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Auto Club Speedway. As Beyond the Apex says, at least no music on Crank It Up. Yeah, no music on the Crank It Up, just the sights and sounds out there on the speedway for these amazing drivers as the green flag back out into the air. And we'll see if we can crank it up here again this afternoon. Let's see if we can go down the back straightaway. Let's see if we can get a lap in first here before we officially saying that it's going to be a Crank It Up. We want to make sure that these drivers can keep their cars pointed the right direction. See if we can get a lap or so in here before we decide to make that call, because the Crank It Up may create another caution flag out there on the speedway. We don't want to see that curse continue here during this part of the race, as they are still 3-4 wide out there on the speedway. You see Cameron Cranken trying to race his way back up to the front of the field. Same with Braxton DeWeese right there as well. Blaine Wilson back in 15th as out in front. Blue Jade continuing to lead this race. Blue Jade out in front is AJ Green. Victor Fluger now there in second and third, trying to hunt down that 83 ride as we are clean and green down the back straightaway. And now we will officially jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on these amazing drivers. is unfortunately Blue Jay tied up in it. The 88 ride in there as well as Ken Zeems. The 28 is giving up a parking lot here on the front straightaway as the caution flag will come back out, and that will officially bring a close to the Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here. These guys just really want to give me much of a break here this afternoon. Trying to make me work for my money up here or something, as we'll see the caution flag come back out. The Crank It Up is officially going to go away. We want to see some green flag laps out there, and maybe that will do the trick here this evening. As we'll get them loaded up, we'll get them ready to go back to green flag racing, but first we will take a look and see what brings this caution flag back out here this evening. A lot of contact, a lot of drivers unfortunately tied together out there on the speedway. It looked like it started up towards the front of the field as Blue Jade collected here in this one. As you see the 22 trying to take that race lead away from the 83 right down out at corner number 4. Things getting a little tight. Unfortunately, some contact there is... Oh man, I don't know if that was netcode right there. The 20 ride seemed to be quite a ways off the back bumper here. We're going to see a little bit of contact. I don't know if it was just the 83 getting loose there off of corner exit, and the 20 ride unfortunately just coming up the racetrack at the same time, so almost coincidental contact there, and unfortunately a couple issues transpiring at the same time as the 83 ride getting loose, about to go around. We see Victor Pfluger in the 88 make contact here down the front straightaway. Both of those drivers are going to go around. Unfortunately, the 83 of Blue Jade up into the outside fence. The 2 ride nowhere to go. Slams into the side of that 83. The 15 going to get collected. The 21 ride also in there. So Owen Bridges with some good damage. Brennan McKee and that 2 machine of Stephen Hines all getting some damage there off the 83 ride. We'll take another look at it. We'll watch that 20 and the 88 go down the racetrack here, down in through the infield. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage for Pfluger or Boris out there on the speedways. I'm not sure if they're able to keep themselves both from hitting that inside fence. Looks like they're both going to get lucky enough to stay off each other, stay off the inside wall, and not get collected by any other drivers. And not a whole lot of damage or a whole lot of issues there for either of those cats, but there was a lot of damage for some other drivers down the front straightaway as Blue Jade also going around at that same time. And now it's going to open up the door again for more of these. Blue says, purely a skill issue on my part. That's unfortunate. That was a crank it up 100%. Yeah, we definitely cranked it up right there. That was some thrilling content that the people like to see out there on the speedway, as at least we get some viewers in here, and you guys seem to enjoy the crank it up for what it is, the crank it up caution flag at least. And seeing me struggle, trying to take a little bit of a break there, a little bit of a chill pill for a couple minutes out there on the racetrack, and allowing you guys to get a good look and sights and sounds of these drivers out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, not going to quite work out here this evening, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. As we get ready to stack them back up, we get ready to go back to battle here tonight from the beautiful AutoClub Speedway. Out in front, it is Noah Miller and Joshua Whitfield, 1 and 2 on the speedway, getting ready to see that green flag fly. AJ Green back there in third as Boris S back in position number 4 and looking for more. Ryan Peters, Braxton DeWeese are top 6 as Cameron Crank and George Buck, Christian Marcelli, Victor Pfluger and Blaine Wilson are top 11 out there on the speedway as more drivers try to figure out where they need to be, where they need to get lined up, and they may want to try to catch up to the lead pack here in a quick hurry. As there you go, the lights are going to come back on. We're going to extend it by at least another lap right there. I know Travis and the admin crew, they're trying to make sure that this race can get moving along in a quick hurry here, but want to be fair and make sure that everyone is there when this restart happens. They were trying to move it along, trying to skip ahead a lap there, and unfortunately just could not pull the trigger on it as a lot of drivers trying to work themselves back out onto the racetrack from pit lane, trying to get their cars repaired and everything else. It's not lined up together. As you do see Victor Pfluger back here in the 11th position. He still hasn't caught up. There he is finally. Looks like he's going to get caught up to the lead pack and get ready to go back to battle. As Steven says, tough track. It's a bit of a tough track. It's got its ups and downs. It's very bumpy. It doesn't have a whole lot of grip at nighttime here, and unfortunately, you know, the cracks, the bumps, all of it kind of really affect these cars and the handling. You can lose the rear end in a quick hurry, slide around out there on the speedway, and as the tire wear starts to become a factor here, obviously we haven't seen too much tire wear out there on the speedway, as Blue O says, luckily I'll get new tires, laugh out loud. Luckily enough, yeah, some new tires right there. I don't know how old the tires really were. I mean, you had 20 laps on them, but really it was about 6 or 7 laps of green flag racing on those tires, so tires really weren't too old, really weren't too worn out, but tire pressure is definitely going down under these caution flags. The heat in the tires fading away from it as well, and unfortunately starting to lose that grip and that extra little bit of power in behind the wheel, as a lot of drivers having issues here this evening, man. We do see Alex Coffey. He is still scored a lap or 2 laps down here on the racetrack, scored back in the 12th position. Tommy Thompson, he's a few laps down there in 13th. Russell Peets in the same situation as Stephen Hines. Is Hines actually off the racetrack now and out of this race? The 15 of Brennan McKee, Owen Bridges, Blue, Jane down pit side. All these drivers having these issues. Ken Zeems off the speedway as well. Corey Moore down a lot of laps here on the night. He scored back in that 20th position as we get ready to go back to battle here. It's Joshua Whitfield out in front as we start with 27 drivers. We probably only got about 17 left out there on the racetrack. We thought it was going to be a fairly clean and green race in a battle of, weight and maybe some strategy out there on the speedway, but it's kind of turned into a little bit more survival of the fittest, as that field has definitely been thinned out, but out in front, Joshua Whitfield looking to try to hold on to this race lead, trying to keep these drivers back there at bay, as they're already 3 wide here for position number 2. They were almost 4 wide for a race lead. Here comes Braxton DeWeese. Here comes that number 48 of Cameron Craighead, as Craighead trying to race his way back to the front of the field after early issues, having to make that pass-through penalty on lap number 1 after qualifying in that pole position. Kind of got stuck back there a few laps down, but slowly but surely has worked this 48 right back onto the lead lap, and now right back into the action as he sits back in that 6th position just outside our top 5 on the speedway, as Ryan Peets finally makes his way inside the top 5 on the racetrack there, as that 05 ride there in the 5th position, as the 5 of Braxton DeWeese right there in front of him, as we do see the pass for the race lead, as the 8 ride of Noah Miller able to get in front and slide in front of the 60 of Joshua Whitfield. Whitfield now back into 2nd, as we did see a couple drivers trying to beat and bang battle back here deeper in the field. We did see someone, looked like someone went down to the infield there off of corner number 4. I don't know who it was or where they were, but it was someone from deeper in the field here, as out in front, Noah Miller leading this race, starting to open up a bit of the gap here, as unfortunately for Whitfield, down the back straightaway going to lose a few more spots, as AJ Green, Braxton DeWeese both able to get around him here, and they're going to slide up in front. They're going to go after that 8 ride and see if they can put themselves up and into victory lane. As the 60 of Joshua Whitfield, they're trying to hold on to 4th. Ryan Peters trying to take that 4th spot away, in the 7 ride of Tommy Thompson showing some speed right there out of that 7 machine. Unfortunately, he's a lap or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack in the PMP Graphics number 7 machine. The Octane Outlaws ride back in 13th, and not in that free pass position right now, as Alex Coffey sits in that free pass spot. Coffey 1 lap down, would love to see at least 1 more caution flag and work himself back onto the lead lap here this evening, and try to get that Monster Energy 54 ride right back into the action and see if he can battle for this race win, but needs another yellow flag and an opportunity to get that wave around and back into the action here this evening. Yeah, they were not damaged just purely on me. Unfortunate contact, unfortunate issues out there on the racetrack for Blue O and a lot of these other drivers, as Chris DeWeese says time to get it on number 5, Braxton DeWeese, cheering on that 5 right. You see Braxton right there. He's in the thick of it as he's in that second spot, and he's looking down low for our race lead late in this race as they are door-to-door out in front. The Global Industries, number 8 right, Noah Miller, able to hang on to the race lead down across the start-finish line as Braxton trying to hang right there to his left rear quarter panel, trying to side draft in, slow that 8 right down just a little bit, looking for another big run down through the middle to the bottom side of the racetrack, but the outside lane paying dividends here for that 8 machine. Now you're starting to see some of these other drivers make some big runs back there behind him. The 19 ride, who is unfortunately multiple laps down, scored back in the 16th position, has just raced his way up inside our top 4 on the racetrack. If he wasn't multiple laps down, would be a great battle to see this Cheerwine number 19 ride here in the mix this evening, as we do see Deweese able to slide out in front, but quickly making the crossover move. The number 8 rider, Noah Miller, back down to his inside. Door to door for the race lead is the caution flag going to come back out. So the caution flag coming back out. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like iRacing is going to score. That 8 machine of Noah Miller still is our race leader. We'll see if they do move the 5 of Deweese out in front, as he may have been that race leader at the time of the caution flag, and that's kind of looking like what it's going to be. He was able to pull back around the 8 right. Looks like iRacing going to give this 5 ride the race lead here. He's going to get checked up with that pace car, go back around him here, but Braxton Deweese out in front will be that control car. As we take a look back and see the contact here, the PMP graphics. Octane Outlaws number 7 ride here with Tommy Thompson. Unfortunately going to pancake the outside fence. Boris right there on his back bumper, and unfortunately just as he gets checked up here, hitting that outside wall, the car just kind of loses a ton of speed, a ton of momentum, and a quick hurry. And unfortunately for the 88 ride, that Star Wars machine, not expecting it, not really planning for it. Unfortunately, the loss of momentum, the 7 right in the wall. He gets into Tommy. That's going to just spin Tommy around. It's some pretty good front end damage there for Boris. Some pretty good contact and damage for that 7 right of Tommy Thompson again, as he's going to have to take that 7 right again down pit side and looking to try to get that thing repaired and back out there onto the racetrack late in this race as another caution flag here on what has been a very crazy afternoon. A lot of battling out there on the Speedway here at Auto Club Speedway. Not a lot of times we see this many caution flags here at Auto Club. I don't know if I'm, I'm pretty impressed, man. Color me blue. I didn't think we were going to see, I didn't think we were going to see 3 or 4 caution flags. Honestly, I thought we were going to see maybe 1 or 2 yellows on the day besides our stage breaks there. I didn't think we were going to see too many issues here between drivers, but here tonight, there has been a lot of tight racing, just showing you how competitive and how close these drivers are out there on the Speedway, speed-wise, that they're parked right up on top of each other, and unfortunately, when one driver makes a mistake, a lot of other drivers could potentially get a piece of it, could potentially get tied up, and that's what we've seen a lot here tonight. Drivers just getting tore up, no fault of their own, just having drivers go around or into the fence in front of them, and nothing they can do except for hang on and enjoy the ride here this evening. As Chris DeWeese says, good job, buddy. Let's get after it. Let's go number 5, Bennett's Publical Ford Mustang, Braxton DeWeese. Alrighty, as we get ready to go back to battle, lights still on the official iRacing paint car. Looks like they will turn back off, this time by the start-finish line. Braxton DeWeese now leading this race, so a new control car, a new driver to try to control this pace and see if he can get that jump in, clear the outside lane and lead us down into quarter number 1 and see if he can open up a couple car lengths and try to give himself some breathing room out there on the Speedway. We may see Noah Miller, AJ Green, Ryan Peters, and Cameron Crankhead right there ready to pounce if that 5 ride makes a mistake, or if any of these other drivers throughout our top 5 run into a problem. The fast cats back there behind him will quickly pounce on the opportunity. As we do see Alex Coffey rolling back down the back straightaway, he was able to get the free pass in back onto the lead lap here. So a good break for Alex Coffey, potentially a bad break for the rest of these drivers throughout our top 12 on the Speedway, as they are now going to have to compete with that fast number 54 ride. We'll see if Alex can work his way back up to the front of the field and back into the action here this evening. He did come down pit road there on lap number 80, so he's got some pretty good equipment. Maybe enough fuel, maybe it's tires. I don't know what's going to help him and prevail here this evening, but I'm sure he's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, and we'll see if Alex can work his way back up to the front of the field as the Weiss, Miller, 1 and 2, getting ready to go back to battle here at AutoClub Speedway. Down through corner number 4. The pace car will turn back down pit lane and down through the Geico restart zone. The 5 right of Braxton DeWeese will control this race and be the first car to launch down here through the Geico restart zone. You can fire early, you can fire later. You want to try to keep those drivers back there behind you kind of on your tippy toes, and he does get a pretty solid restart over the 8 ride. Quickly slides up in front of him, clears a couple car lengths, and he can breathe easy down into corner number 1, but out of corner number 2. These drivers building up that momentum, trying to find their runs, but a battle for that second spot may open up the door for Braxton to pull a little bit away here down the back straightaway. But now that they're lined up, they're drafting together, they're starting to build that momentum up. They're going to close in on that 5 right, and in quick hurry is AJ Green able to work himself around Noah Miller for that second spot on the speedway. Miller now trying to hold off that Coca-Cola number 48 of Cameron Crankhead. Our pole sitter here this evening obviously showed a lot of speed there during the lone qualifying, and then throughout this race, the just battling and prevalence of that 48 ride to be able to come from a couple laps down after a pass-through penalty early in this race and a couple more trips down pit side. The 48 ride found himself a couple laps down, but late in this race back up towards the front of the field and battling for a top 3 and potentially the win here this evening as he's trying to stick right there to the back end of that Nebraska 07 ride. Now going to jump down low, looking for a big run, trying to get around AJ Green as Green going to slide back here into position number 3 on the speedway, maybe back to 4th as the 8 rider Noah Miller back up into that second spot. Slowly but surely you start to see some of these other drivers starting to poke their nose back inside the top 5 as here comes Blaine Wilson. The Tilly's Toyota ride now back into that 5th position. Ryan Peters back to 6 as Victor Fluger now trying to get around that 05 ride. Here comes Christian Marcelli there in that 22. You do see George Buck there in 9. Forrest S back in position number 10. Alex Coffey now into 11th as unfortunately for the 60 ride of Joshua Whitfield, he is now back in position number 12. He is the last driver on the lead lap here this afternoon. Russell Peets, Tommy Thompson both down a lap or 2 here on the speedway, back in 13th and 14th with Corey Moore there in the 15th position. Corey Buchanan back in 16th with Blue Jade, Stephen Hines, Brennan McKee, and Owen Bridges rounding out our top 20 here this evening. Is out in front, it's Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese continue to lead the way, but you see that dogfight in the storm coming to his back bumper, and now down to his inside. Noah Miller takes a big run down into corner number 3, takes that peak down low, unfortunately could not hold that bottom lane, unfortunately had to roll out of that throttle without making contact there to our race leaders. Braxton trying to hold all these drivers off, trying to keep himself out in front, but man, oh man, oh man, the 07, the 48, Cameron Crankhead, so many great talented drivers here at the front of the field, virtually parked right on top of each other, but making some very spicy moves there on the racetrack. And you just saw Noah Miller slide up over the nose of that 07 ride, making a big move there out at corner number 2 and jumping in front of Cameron Crankhead. And man, these guys are just parking lot here. An absolute parking lot as our top 10, top 12 drivers out there on the racetrack, all right there together. You continue to see them make these big moves, these big dive bombs, sliding up in front of one another out there on the racetrack, just clearing each other by inches here on the speedway. Braxton DeWeese, he's loving to see all that battle, and back there behind him does not want to see it get to his back bumper. He's trying to break the draft down that back straightaway, trying to move around, trying to keep these drivers from building up any momentum or a big run to get back to his rear end here this evening as the laps continue to click off and we inch closer and closer to this checkered flag is down across the line. We will see only 12 more laps left to go here from the beautiful AutoClub Speedway. And the intensity just starting to heat up. Things are just starting to get a little bit more wild here, and every single lap that goes by, each and every one of these drivers starting to feel that pressure more and more here as you see the 18 ride taking a big run down to the inside, but contact back there behind him. Look at the 07, the 48 tied together. The 28 rides heavy damage there for him as well, and the 22 of Christian Marcelli also getting tied up in that one as AJ Green, one of our front runners here all evening long, heavy damage. That left front not even turning all that 07 ride. He's going to have to take it down pit side. Look to get some big repairs done to it. Same with the 48 ride of Cameron Crankhead as they come together at a corner number 2, and the caution flag will come back out here late in this race as Crankhead, he's been pushing hard here. He's been really trying to pull these drivers down the back straightaway and trying to get these big runs to be able to make these moves and keep himself at the front of the field, but unfortunately this time just not lined up correctly with that 07 ride. Gets right there into that left rear quarter panel. Unfortunately, gets him loose, drives him up into the outside fence and bounces off the wall. AJ Green comes back down, collects that 48 ride. Good contact on that right front, left front. Now he slides up in front of the 22 as he gets slammed into that 22 ride. Him and the 28 going to come together as well, and damage on every corner of that 07 machine. He may be down pit side for an extended period of time. Same with that 28 ride. His unfortunate break there for George Buck. His Buck, just another one of those innocent bystanders, just trying to race his way around that carnage, and unfortunately gets a big piece of it. He's going to get a great look at this one as he was right here behind these guys. Watches it happen, trying to keep himself out of it. Unfortunately, could not get lucky enough as he sees that first contact there between the 48 and the 07. The second bit of contact gets into the 07, gets into the 48, then gets collected again, and hard damage into the outside fence, and that may be all she wrote there for the Havoline 28 machine here this evening. As here we go, more drivers going to come down pit side. I see AJ Green working his way down there, but we do see Braxton DeWeese, Cameron Crankhead, AJ Green. Here comes Noah Miller down pit side as well in that number 8 ride. Blaine Wilson, Victor Fluger, they're all going to get done their pit stops, roll back out there onto the racetrack, and we'll see where everybody lines up as one driver elected to stay out here. Not coming down pit road, wanted the track position, didn't want the fuel, didn't want the tires. In the 88 ride, Boris Hess going to stay out there on the speedway and will now be our race leader. Ryan Peters is going to come out of pit lane in position number 2 with Braxton DeWeese back there in 3rd. Blaine Wilson in 4th with Noah Miller, Victor Fluger, Alex Coffey, Cameron Crankhead still down pit side getting work done. Christian Marcelli down pit side getting work done to the 22. Joshua Whitfield trying to get some repairs here late in the race for the number 60 ride. Tommy Thompson looks like he's going to get that free pass potentially back onto the lead lap here for the number 7 ride. You do see the 54 of Alex Coffey. He's going to actually jump out into 7th here. We still feel a little bit of damage on that 54 ride. Playing things perfectly here this evening, and all of a sudden Alex Coffey up and in position number 7 here on the speedway. And late in this race, him and his teammates all up there inside the top 10 as there's not a lot of drivers left on the lead lap inside the top 10 here this evening, but we're going to get ready to go back to battle. Chris says, here we go, race fans. Let's hear the BDR fans out there. Let's go number 5, Braxton DeWeese. Is DeWeese. All these other drivers getting ready for what could be a wild end to this race. We have seen races here at AutoClub Speedway finish 2 wide, 3 wide. We've seen even some 4 wide finishes here at AutoClub Speedway. Maybe they one up them all. Maybe we see them 5 wide down across the line, trying to pick up that checker flag here this evening. Or we may just see some more caution flags and more carnage out there on the racetrack. We start with 27 cars. We barely look like we have 7 left out there on the racetrack. Only about 12, 13 cars still rolling out there on the speedway. We may see a couple more join us here before we go back to green flag racing, but we do see Joshua Whitfield, George Buck, both down pit side here, extended time. AJ Green, he is down and out of this race. Corey Moore still rolling out there though in the 84 ride, and able to gain a couple extra positions. Same with the 19 of Corey Buchanan, Blue Jade as well, trying to leapfrog some of these drivers, sticking with it, getting back up there onto the racetrack, even though they're multiple laps down, potentially able to make a couple passes there with other drivers running into problems and leapfrogging them in the standings there. Here this evening is down through the Geico restart zone. We will go back to green flag racing here in the Grand Slam Series as the 88 Rhino Boris continues to lead the way in that Star Wars Columbia number 88 machine. Gets a great restart quickly, slides up in front of that 05 Ryan as Ryan Peters trying to hold on to second. Here comes the Weiss. Here comes the 18 of Blaine Wilson. You see that 20 right of Victor Pfluger trying to get set up there on the outside lane, looking for a big run down the back straightaway. Everyone trying to fall into line, everyone trying to get that bit of a draft built down the back straightaway here and into corner number 3 is DeWeese down low. He wants to try to slide up in front of that 05 right, clear him for position number 2, but couldn't quite get it done. They're going to make contact now up into the outside fence for the 05 and the 5 ride out there on the Speedway. DeWeese and that 05 ride both going to lose a ton of positions. Quite a bit of damage there to the right side of both of those drivers' cars, and unfortunately they now fall back into 7th and 8th on the Speedway. And all of a sudden, Dig Esports at the front of the field. Blaine Wilson in position number 2. Victor Pfluger there in 3rd, and Alex Coffey in position number 4. Down low, trying to clear that 8 ride of Noah Miller. As they battle door to door here for that 4th position. Coffey right back into the thick of things as they're getting tight together, beating and banging, bouncing off each other as the 88 ride of Boris S may have played the right card here, trying to just keep that track position, keep that car out in front, have that clean air, and maybe keep himself out in front long enough to pick up this checker flag, especially if they continue to battle like they are back there behind him. But quickly, you see that 18 ride, the Dig Esports team working well together to try to get right back to the rear bumper of our race leader as Boris leads us down through corner number 3. Now to corner number 4, here comes a big run from the 18 ride, looking to the outside now of the 88. Can he slide up and clear him? No, he can't. They will go door to door, down across the line. As across the line, we will see another lap disappear, and all of a sudden we only get 5 more laps left to go here in this race. 5 more laps for these drivers to duke it out here this evening. The 88 pushes up the racetrack, down low. Here comes Alex Coffey. Coffey looking for the race lead, somehow rebounding in this race to put that Monster Energy ride out in front. Noah Miller, Blaine Wilson right there behind him, door to door, down into corner number 3. Boris trying to battle back. Here comes Victor Pfluger. Here comes Cameron Crankhead down on the inside, trying to race his way back inside the top 5. He makes a big move from the bottom shelf to the top shelf there through corner number 4, and he slides back into that 5th position. Things getting a little bit more calm, but down into the corners, we're going to see things get crazy as Coffey trying to hold on to the race lead. Noah Miller trying to take it away from him. Miller getting a little loose there down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Going to allow that 54 ride to get the run that he was looking for down the back straightaway. Able to clear and stay in front of that 8 ride. Now going to jump up and try to block that outside lane. Is a big run coming from Blaine Wilson as Wilson down through the middle, trying to make that pass on Noah Miller. Here comes Victor Pfluger getting wound up on the extreme high side in the 48 ride right there as well. He has now joined this battle inside the top 5. For the 84 of Corey Moore, you see him trying to join the fun here at the front of the field as well. Moore, multiple laps down, back in the 12th position for that 84 machine. Unfortunately not a part of this battle at the front of the field. As Alex Coffey looking to try to keep this race lead, trying to put that Monster Energy Toyota up and into victory lane. As down the back straightaway into corner number 3 here once again this afternoon. They will round corner number 3 nice and easy as Dig Esports out in front, leading this race as Coffey rounds corner number 4 and across the line. We will see the twin sticks from our flagman. Only 2 more laps left to go here this afternoon from AutoClub Speedway. All these drivers at the front of the field, they want to see that white flag fly. They do not want to see another caution flag in a green-white checkered finish here this evening. They want to be able to duke it out amongst themselves right now out there on the Speedway. As there is some contact down the back straightaway, there's the caution flag, and we will go to the green-white checkered finish here here this evening. I think that was the last thing that Alex Coffey, Blaine Wilson, or any of these other drivers really wanted to see, is unfortunately for Noah Miller, Victor Pfluger, and Cameron Crankhead, they come together back there behind our race leaders. They're going to go around here and unfortunately just running in a row, battling hard here for position number 3. And it just does not work out. It just does not play out for them here. See if we can get another look at this one. See if we can get a good shot at this contact as, unfortunately, down at a corner number 2, the 48, the 8 ride, they both push up the racetrack. Unfortunately for the 48, he pushes up a little too far, ends up clipping that 20 ride. They both wash down the racetrack. Around goes the 20, around goes the 8 as he bounces off the door panel of Cameron Crankhead, and all 3 drivers turned around down the back straightaway. Luckily enough, I do believe, oh no, heavy contact right there for Victor Pfluger. Pfluger, unfortunately, just trying to get that car checked up, trying to avoid heavy contact there with the wall. He's going to end up finding it right here, especially in the wrong spot, the wrong time. That car just whips around and head on into that inside fence. Luckily enough, it was safer barrier there, so hopefully he is A-okay. But for the 8 ride, I'm not sure if Noah Miller ended up into the wall or not here as well. Let's take a look at Miller's ride in the 8. See that car? He's locked up. He's trying to get this thing checked up as quickly as possible. And unfortunately, the 20 ride, he gets the wall. I do believe the 8 ride able to avoid it here. Oh, maybe just kisses it there, but not as hard as what the 20 ride did. Once the 20 slams into it, the 8 ride able to get it checked up. Maybe just gives it a little kiss right there, but no real damage to the back end of that 8. Machine the car for the most part. Not a whole lot of damage on it. Able to keep on rolling here, but Alex Coffey in that 18 ride. Teammates at the front of the field did not want to see that caution flag, as that's going to bring the 88 ride aboard. Says right back into the picture here for this green-white checkered finish. Braxton the Weiss back there in 4th. Cameron Crankhead there as well in about the 7th or 8th position here. Victor Pfluger still with that front end damage, going to stay out there on the racetrack, not going to take that car down pit side, hoping to try to see if he can survive the rest of this race and not have any more issues, and trying to keep himself up inside the top 5. Noah Miller back there in 6th as Crankhead falls back to 7th, and now Russell Peets getting that free pass. He will jump back into position number 8. As Kelly says, a battle of attrition for sure. Yeah, definitely the battle of attrition here this afternoon. A 100-lap race from AutoClub Speedway. Definitely taking a lot out of these drivers, man. It's a lot of tough work, a lot of laps here this evening, and a lot of caution flags really sticking with these cats out there on the speedways. We'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to try to go back to green flag racing here once again, as the caution flag going to continue down across the start finish line. This time by, we should hopefully see that the lights will turn off the official iRacing paint car, and we'll get ready here for what could potentially be our final restart of the evening. Our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish, NASCAR overtime, here with the Octane Outlaws in the Grand Slam Series. As Chris Louise says, woohoo! This game is gonna get good. This is definitely gonna get good right here. It's Alex Coffey, Blaine Wilson, 1 and 2. Boris S., Braxton DeWeese, Victor Pfluger, our top 5. Cameron Crankhead there in 6. The 8 rider Noah Miller back in 7th, with Russell Peets scored back in position number 8. Ryan Peters back there in 9th. Christian Marcelli rolls back out there on the racetrack. He's back in position number 10. Tommy Thompson scored there in 11th with Corey Moore. Corey Buchanan, Blue Jade, our top 14 out here on the speedway, and that's all we got left out there rolling on the racetrack. Everyone else is either parked down pit side or have already taken their car down behind pit wall. We started with 27. Looks like we may finish with only 14 cars still rolling out there on the racetrack. Multiple cars out of those 14 with heavy damage or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, as we'll get ready to go back to battle. Our final, potentially, our final restart here of the evening. Our first attempt at NASCAR overtime. Each of these drivers getting ready to rock and roll as the 88 ride down the through corner number 3 there. Checked up quite a bit. I wasn't sure if he was about to run out of fuel right there. Looks like he's got that car backfired under all 8 cylinders, and he's right back to the rear bumper of the 54 right as Alex Coffey has control of this restart. Is down through the Geico restart zone. He's playing that cat and mouse game with the rest of the field, hoping to get a great launch and a great jump there between himself and all these other drivers. And quickly, you see them starting to shuffle around. Drivers trying to make some moves, trying to throw some blocks down the front straightaway, already down into corner number 1. Some big blocks out of the 18 will open up the door down low as the 88 right of Boris trying to jump up into position number 2 as here comes the 48. Where did Cameron Craighead come from? He jumps up to the extreme high side as the blocks were thrown down low. He slides into position number 2 rather quickly, is down into corner number 3. Nice and easy out of corner number 4. They're just hoping to try to make it back down across the line and see that white flag fly here this evening. As down across the line here at Auto Club Speedway, there's the white flag. The next flag will end this race no matter what. That was our final restart, a one and only green-white checkered finish in NASCAR overtime here this evening as Alex Coffey looking to try to hold on to the race lead. Cameron Craighead trying to stay in second as here comes Blaine Wilson down to his inside, and that's exactly what Coffey wants to see. Battle back there for position number 2 and 3 and allow him to run away and pick up the checkered flag here this evening. As for the final time, down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, still side by side back there behind them. They're going to get into the outside wall for that second and third spot. They're wrecking for that second and third position, but it's Alex Coffey who's able to pick up the dub here at Auto Club Speedway. Coffey gets it done and pulls the Monster Energy number 54 ride up and into victory lane here this evening. As Cameron Craighead able to stay in second, unfortunately for Blaine Wilson, that contact out of corner number 4 between him and the 48 ride slides him down the speedway, and he comes home in position number 4 as Braxton DeWeese will steal that third spot away from him here this evening. As drivers will get lined up here on the front straightaway, we will see this 54 ride celebrate the big dub here this evening as Coffey able to find victory lane once again here on the season. As Kelly says, let's go! Kelly cheered on that 54 ride, knowing that Alex Coffey able to pick up the dub here at Auto Club Speedway, and he's going to get ready to burn down the house here in this one. He's going to get ready to celebrate here on the front stretch and get ready to celebrate with his team down in victory lane in just a few more moments, and we'll be jumping up into the broadcast booth with our top 3 finishers for some post-race interviews here this evening. So post-race interviews coming up next. We'll pull our top 3 up and into the booth here to get their thoughts and feelings here and what's kind of going through their mind after what was a wild evening of racing action. 27 drivers started this race. About 14 drivers ended up finishing this race, still rolling out there on the racetrack. Some of them in a lot worse condition than others. Some of them battling back from being multiple laps down, like our race winner, Alex Coffey, as 30 laps ago, he was tied up in some action himself, had some pretty good damage, was down pit side for an extended period of time, and went a couple laps down there, was able to battle back onto the lead lap and right back out in front and able to finish it off and pick up the dump here this evening as we'll get ready to pull these top 3 up and into the booth here. Just waiting for them to jump into the Discord so we can pull them in for their post-race interviews. Right now we don't see them in there, so we're hoping to get Alex and Cameron and Braxton all up there into the broadcast booth. Okay, there's Braxton. He's hopped in there. We're waiting for Alex and Cameron to slide in there as well, but let's get Braxton DeWeese, our 3rd place finisher, here into the booth right now. He's already there in the waiting room, so let's pull Braxton in first here for his post-race interview. Hey Braxton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
I gotcha.
Braxton, man, a pretty wild afternoon here at Auto Club Speedway. We've seen some crazy races here in the past, but we've seen a lot of clean and green racing here. What were you expecting coming into this night? What did you want to see happen? Obviously, you want to see that fight right up into victory lane, but you can't be too upset being able to survive what was quite a bit of chaos out there on the Speedway and still come home with a solid top 3 run.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely happy with the finish after kind of going through a good amount of adversity there, but we were able to fix the car multiple times, get it back going, and Man, I felt really good right there after we got our last set of tires and we were getting down to the end. Um, Man, I thought we had a real good chance, but um, it is what it is. We'll take our third, and hopefully we were still pretty good in the points, and we can um, still keep the points lead. Hopefully extend it a little bit, and just move on to next week.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta take what you are given out there on the racetrack, and luckily enough, here late in the race, you see some contact there between a couple drivers in front of you. Cameron Crankhead in the 18 ride battle in there for that second spot. Unfortunately for the 18, he gets jumped down into the infield. You're able to keep that momentum up and make the pass and steal that third spot away from him here late in this race. But kind of take us back through this one, man. What was kind of going through your head throughout a lot of those caution flags, trying to battle back? What was the vibe out there on the speedway?
Wanted to try to take care of the tires. I felt like it'd be pretty easy to burn up the right front, especially if you're running behind guys and not being, courteous of the dirty air and courteous of your right front. Um, it definitely affects these cars, so you definitely want to try to get some clean air if possible and try to get the best run you can. But just trying to get the clean air and saving as much tire was my ultimate goal. It's a good thing that this track's pretty wide, so you can, move around to get more clean air with nobody running in that line that you're going to run. So, just wanted to fix the damage, keep on the lead lap, which it's pretty easy at bigger tracks to stay on the lead lap and get damage fixed. You get a lot more fixed, but like I said, we were able to get all that done, and like I said, I felt like we had a real good shot, but we just we ran up and 3 and 4 gave '05 a little bit of room. He just got loose and tagged us, and if I could have got around him, I really think we honestly had it locked up. But like I said, it is what it is. We'll take our P3, and we'll just try to move next week and see if we can be a couple spots better.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you guys back in action there next Friday night. But Braxton, a solid run, a solid drive for you here all evening long. Who would you like to thank for the great run and great drive here and coming home, rounding out our podium here this evening?
Yeah, definitely a big shout out to the main sponsor on the car, Bennett's Publical. I think I'm gonna go eat there tomorrow potentially. So, looking forward to that, and I also always appreciate having them on the car. We've ran really well every race so far here in the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series. Just haven't been able to finish it out and get the win yet, but we're still able to be first in points heading into this race. Like I said, I don't know what the points are going to look like. I hope that with the stages and how we finished, it should help us stay out there, hopefully extend it, at least just stay in first. That's always the goal, but big shout out to Bennett's, as well as the secondary sponsor, Booth 34 Diecast, Interstate Ford, Allen's Arts Images, 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop, Jane's on Main, Dewey's Renovations, Drilling Captures, Short Track Report, Scrubbing Tires Media, Plays Designs, Evan Pineda Designs, Chance 3 Design Shop, and Bully Dog Coffee Company. As always, you can use Brax5 for 10% off over there in the checkout to get some money off your order, which is always good to have. So I appreciate him, and I appreciate everybody else that supports, watches the broadcast, watches my live stream, and just tunes into watching us goofballs going in circles on the computer. So it's fun, and this race was pretty fun up front. Got a little rowdy in the end, but you'll have that when it gets closer to the end. But we will move on to Daytona next week, and hopefully we can just keep her out front, try to get as much points as we can with the stages, and go from there.
Absolutely, brother. You can only go from there and see if you can put yourself finally up and into victory lane here in the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series. We'll see you back in action next Friday, Braxton, and hopefully see you right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You have a good one.
You as well.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our third place finisher there, Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese coming home in position number 3 here this evening, rounding out our podium as Kelly Coffey says, great race, thanks for the broadcast. Absolutely, Kelly. Chris DeWeese says, great race, drivers, good job, number 5, Braxton DeWeese, for driving back in there. Says, congratulations to the 54 ride, and says, great broadcast as always, buddy. It was great to see you. Always great to see you as well, Chris. Says, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Be safe and have fun. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Is that technically today, or is that like Saturday, Sunday? I don't know when that is. I don't really celebrate anything anymore, man. I sit at home and I play video games, bro. I play video games. I ain't got no time for alcohol or doing those fun things, going out partying and stuff like that. I'm too old for that stuff. Too old for that stuff now. For myself at least. For myself at least. But man, this was a lot of fun. A great race, some great driving up there on the Speedway. Let's see if we can pull the rest of our top three up here into the broadcast booth. I don't see Cameron Craighead. Oh, there we go. They're in the race lobby, just in the wrong spot. Okay, so let's pull in our race winner, Alex Coffey. Coffey is in there, so let's pull Alex up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Alex, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Alex, man, take us back through this race, man. A bit of a wild one for you as we saw you quickly, early on in this race your way up towards the front of the field. You got tied up in a couple different issues, a couple times got shuffled back there a little bit farther throughout the field, and then all of a sudden, here throughout the middle of this race towards the end, you get tied up in a couple of these wrecks. You get some damage, you end up going a lap or two down there. You battle back from that, you get back onto the lead lap, and all of a sudden late in this race, you start just to race your way back out in front, and you take that race leading and never give it back up as you're able to pull that 54 ride up and into victory lane here this evening, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind as you're able to battle through that adversity and still pull off the win here this evening at AutoClub Speedway.
Yeah, it was definitely a bunch of up and downs. I hit the wall in qualifying on my hot lap, and so I had to start 22nd. But then, yeah, through the middle of the race, we got caught in that big one on the back stretch. Ended up with like 6.5 minutes of damage. So usually I want races to go green, but the cautions definitely helped out. We got it all fixed with about 10 to go, and had pretty good tires on it from being slow because of the damage. So I didn't really use much on it. So we got back up there and were able to capitalize on all the side drafting the top five we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of side drafting, a lot of beating and banging, a lot of caution flags here at Auto Club Speedway. Hurting a lot of drivers, but helping some other drivers get back into this thing. And you're one of them, man, and able to rebound perfectly here this evening and pull yourself up into victory lane, proving that you just never want to give up. You never want to just park those cars down pit side and give up on the afternoon, because you never know how things are going to play out, how you may be able to earn some of those laps back. We saw drivers come back from 2, 3, almost 4 laps down for some of these cats, getting back onto the lead lap here this evening. So no give up, no parking it here for a lot of these guys, and you're one of them to be able to come back into this race, get back onto that lead lap, and battle here at the front of the field. Obviously, no one getting a better finish than you as you're able to park it up in victory lane. But it was a pretty wild evening, man. A lot of caution flags, a lot of time, cruising back there behind that official iRacing pace car. What was kind of going through your mind? How did you stay focused out there on the racetrack, knowing that you had that damage, you had those issues, and all these caution flags were just slowing the afternoon down more and more and more?
Yeah, I was taking a good bit of damage each caution to get. I was taking a good bit of fixing each caution. So I was going a lap down every caution, hoping that I could keep getting the lucky dog and then being able to pit again and go back a lap down. So it it paid off. We just I always tell everybody don't quit unless the car says too much damage, we're done. You never know how it's going to play out. I never expected to get that 6.5 minutes done, but we did, and it worked.
Absolutely works perfect for you as you pull that 54 back up into victory lane here with the Octane Outlaws in the Grand Slam Series here at Auto Club Speedway. Alex, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening as you're able to pick it up and put yourself into victory lane?
Big shout out to my teammates, Blaine Wilson, Corey Moore, and Victor Fluger. They had some up and down races too, but there at the end, um, definitely helped having Blaine up there with me to kind of have somebody to work with. So shout out to those guys, and Nigel was spotting for Blaine, but helping us out with me being on pit road, taking damage, helping call the pace car and where it was at and when to pull out of the box and everything. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to the admins that put this league on every week, and you for doing the broadcast.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack with the Daytona next. So another crazy race, another one where that adversity may happen in a quick hurry. The big one right around the corner every lap there at Daytona International Speedway. And maybe we'll see you, battle through that adversity and find yourself up here in victory lane again on the season. Alex, congrats on the win. Congrats on the great race. And we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Friday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and don't party too hard up there in victory lane.
I will try not to.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner as Alex Coffey gets it done and pulls himself up and into victory lane. As now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, Cameron Crankhead, as Crankhead comes home here in position number 2. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Cameron, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Cameron, man, a pretty wild afternoon here for you. We saw you obviously qualify in that pole position, off to a great start on the evening, but unfortunately had to serve a pit road penalty there, or a pit road pass through on that first lap. And we see you come down pit side a couple more times early in this race. You quickly go a couple laps down, but a lot of caution flags, a lot of beating, banging. You get yourself back onto the lead lap, but then you run into some problems out there, and just continuing, it seemed like throughout the evening, battling through that adversity. But late in this race, making another charge back up to the front of the field, and you're able to slide up and battle with Blaine Wilson there and steal that second spot away from him.
Yeah, before I even get started, I just want to apologize to 20 and 07 because I did wreck them, and they were deemed racing incidents, but I fully take responsibility. It was not my finest driving, but yeah, I got the penalty at the beginning. That slowed me down really bad. Then I sped into pit road, so that really hurt my speed, but I knew we had stage brakes and I was gonna get it back up. But once I got on the lap, I got hooked during a wreck. Somebody didn't hold their brakes, but then 7 minutes of damage. Got it fixed. Great mechanics out there. They worked their butts off, but yeah, so I knew I had to put it. I didn't get stage points due to being damaged, but I knew I had to get a good finish to make up for all the loss in points, and got second.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to battle back through that adversity. And, I mean, there was a lot of crews here tonight that were definitely working overtime, trying to get their cars, repaired and back out there onto the racetrack. And there was a lot that gave up and a lot that kept on battling out there. You were one of them. We saw Alex Coffey in that same situation, going multiple laps down and having that damage, but getting it repaired, getting back into the battle, sticking with the program here this evening, and being there at the end of the race when it mattered most. And he was able to pick up the win. You were right there behind him, able to come home in position number 2 here this evening. Cameron, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here throughout the evening?
Thank you to the Coca-Cola Company for sponsoring the 48 race machine, and thanks for hosting the broadcast. And thanks to all the league owners and Amar for being the race controller tonight.
Absolutely.
And good win, Alex.
Absolutely. Well, Cameron, a great run, a great drive, a great rebound and battle from you here this evening as you pick up that second place run. Now we head to Daytona next week, and hopefully we'll see you right back out there on the racetrack and right back up here into the broadcast booth as the smoke settles there at Daytona. Maybe one spot better for you and up in victory lane.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Cameron Crankhead. As Crankhead comes home in that second spot, man, what a run, what a battle, what a drive all evening long. Unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for being a part of the action here this evening with the Octane Outlaws in the Grand Slam Series, as these drivers will be back in action next Friday from Daytona International Speedway. We go super speedway racing there next week, where things can be just as crazy as they were here tonight. But they're doing 200 miles an hour. A lot of carnage can happen in a quick hurry, and a lot of drivers could end up with a lot more damage than what they did here tonight, and it could be crazy. We could see another one where we only finish with a couple of drivers still left out there on the speedway on the lead lap, or we may see the whole field be right there right until the very end and see that craziness unfold on the final lap like we did in our Tuesday night truck series, where it was crazy there across the line. A absolutely crazy finish, and it's going to be another wild race here, I know, from Daytona next Friday, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I will see you guys back in here tomorrow night for some more racing action as the Premier Racing setups, or the Premium Stock Car Racing League, that's the words I was looking for, the Premium Stock Car Racing League goes to battle tomorrow night in their Xfinity rides just before 9:30 Eastern Time tomorrow night for some great racing action, and hopefully I'll see you guys there cheering on those drivers and tuning in, having some fun here on the broadcast. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all later. Peace out for now, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle, feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt is forgiven in this chaos-driven life. Only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Rubber dreams chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. The dreams chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.